With the NFL postseason drawing closer and closer, there are several teams jockeying for position, whether it be for that wild card position or for the division title. Thursday night's matchup features two teams that are hoping to get back into the NFC West battle. One team that has been riddled with injuries and still going. The other team riddled with injuries early on and beginning to get their pieces back and gaining some swagger. Want to find out with these two who these two teams are and how they match up? Stay tuned to find out on Gridiron Gab Pro Style. Welcome back, Gabbers. Thank you so much for joining us yet again on another edition of Gridiron Gab Pro Style. Once again, you gabbing with your man, Mr. CeeLo here, and I hope you guys are doing great as we had a couple of good days, warm days here in the Deep South, up until today when it rained all day yesterday and rained early this morning, and when I got ready to leave for lunch today, guys, oh my goodness. It was freaking cooler than it was when I went to work this morning. Not good. That just means it's about to be a cold one. Not much housekeeping to get out the way, except, guys, as many of you know, I have my own Carolina Panther All Access channel. Please go check that out if you happen to stumble over here and you're a Carolina Panther fan or you just like my content. Also, I have a All Access college football show if you guys didn't know about that. If you're a college football fans and you like my show here and you want to check that show out, please go over there and check that out. Hear me talk about how Saban and Paul Weinbaum decided that they were going to try to make a case for Alabama when they both had no problems not making a case for Florida State last year. Yeah. Also go to, if you're a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan, I have an all access Notre Dame channel at Talk Like a Champion. So if any of you are interested in any of those things, make sure you go by and yours truly will be there. Remember, the whole point of these platforms is that one day I will be able to travel and connect with you guys so we can get some of you on the actual platform and have what we call a roundtable of these same type of discussions that I myself am having with you. But if everything's great, hope you guys are having a great Christmas time. Even though it's not here, it's rapidly approaching. Make sure you get those gifts for the kiddos and the grandkiddos. So before we get started, just make sure you guys stay warm. In the areas where they're really cold, make sure you stay warm. And make sure, above all, remain safe. But now that we're getting into the nitty-gritty, let's talk about Thursday night, as We've gotten a couple of good unexpected games, but this one's really going to be a doozy. If any of you guys watched the earlier matchup this season with the 49ers and the Rams, it was a good one. I can't believe this game was just week 3. And, you know, sometimes we forget because the season just goes so fast. I know if a lot of you are like me, it really feels like the season flies at times. And here we are now on week 15. Just this week, after this week, 3 weeks remaining, but this is 4 weeks, full time. But here we are with the last matchup between these two NFC West teams. And this is great because it seems like in a lot of divisions, a lot of these teams have already been scheduled twice. Whereas you got some matchups, they do go into the final act in the final 2 weeks. But here we are. The 7-6 Rams and the 6-7 49ers, which is a far cry from that 1-2 Rams team and that 1-2 49ers team getting their first win, and the Rams kind of going in a spiral because at the time they were short Puka Nacua as well as Cooper Kupp. Enter Kyren Williams, who has 89 yards rushing on and 2 touchdowns, as well as 2 grabs, 27 yards, and a touchdown. So he had 3 touchdowns that night. Enter Kyren Williams yet again, a guy whom everybody already anticipated this guy being the big deal at the time, but he really became big time after this. Looking at what the 49ers have endured, they've gone from Jordan Mason to Christian McCaffrey to back to Jordan Mason and then Gurindo, which the guy's not a bad running back, but I'm going to tell you, he's not Christian McCaffrey, and he's not Jordan Mason. He's certainly not Christian McCaffrey. So with that being said, there's a lot that this 49er team is going to have to overcome. And right now, looking at Matt Stafford and the way he has been playing since Nacua and Cooper Kupp have been on the field, this has not been a football team that has, I don't want to say gotten it together, because that's overly cliche to say they've gotten it together. I think more along the lines they've gotten the continuity together, and they've really started to show a sense of chemistry that they had well before the injury. Meanwhile, the 49ers coming off of a big 38-13 win. You heard some things that Deebo Samuel said, saying that he's struggling, and then basically he's telling him in a nutshell that he's not in charge of getting the ball. But outside of that, I think the ultimate issue that we're going to deal with here is Trent Williams missing his 4th game. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say this is not huge based on what they had last week. I'm here to tell you, it's a big deal. It's a damn huge deal. Because the reality of it is, you're talking about one of the best left tackles in the game. The Rams defense is really starting to get a handle on what they're doing. You're seeing Jared Verse and those guys really starting to bring the hammer down. And when you've got an offense like the Rams that is really starting to bring their A game, this is not something you want to see if you're the 49ers. Because here's the thing. They've been masking a lot of what they've been able to get away with. Now, the Rams are coming off a high. Now, the only way I can see the 49ers winning this game is if the Rams get so high in this game that they get kind of complacent, or they get kind of, oh, this is as big as it gets. But the Rams also realize they're in the middle of a playoff run. They have no margin for error. They've got to catch Seattle. And Seattle's got a matchup this week like the Rams had last week. They've got to face the Green Bay Packers. Much like the Rams, they had this game at home. They get the benefit of it being at home. Now, I want to go back and look at this Rams game. Because when you look at it, this is a far cry from what they had to deal with last week. Well, you look at the Bills and you had 6 touchdowns by Josh Allen. Brock Purdy ain't going to hurt you like that. He can run it, but he's not going to hurt you like that. Kyren Williams had similar numbers that he had in that game, that earlier meeting against the 49ers. Now, here's the difference. Stafford had 320 and 2 scores in this game. He didn't have that in that game against the 49ers. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, he can't imitate that same performance. Puka Nacua can get 12 for 162. Cooper Kupp can get 5 for 92 and a touchdown. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I like the way Sean McVay has really been getting guys their touches despite the other team knowing what they got going on. And see, the 49ers, Nick Bosa's questionable. Now, I get it. I totally get it. uh, our hometown guy, our hometown boy, Leonard Floyd, the former Carolina Panther, Edo Gross Matos, played great in the absence. But I'm just going to say it. This offensive line for the Rams has been surprisingly good this year. They've kept a lot of good defenses, like the Vikings. We saw that game out of the backfield. And they've just been able to give Matt Stafford plenty of time, which has allotted him abundance of time to shred apart any defense that he's gone up against since that duo came back. And I'm going to tell you, this has not been a really good time for the 49ers, especially with them attempting to come out of this huge dark place that they're in right now, which is trying to recover from Christian McCaffrey's injury. And the truth is when you go back and you watch the way, if they had Jordan Mason, this would be there would be a total difference when you back away and you say, okay, we've got to go and we've got to do this. Now, it's one of those where it's like you don't have a guy. I mean, you've got a pretty good running back, but it's not Christian McCaffrey and it's not Jordan Mason. And like as I said, Jordan Mason worked his way to this point. And the truth is when you watch and you really learn about your team, that's when you start to grow. And right now, Kyle Shanahan's in a situation where he's having to learn a new running back. Meanwhile, having to understand what the limitations of the guys that he has up front. Because without Trent Williams, there's only so many things you can do with that running game. He is the one that makes that running game so special outside of the running backs. And without him, it's a total different animal that you deal with. And they really need Nick Bosa to play tomorrow night and I don't know if he's going to. It's a crucial game, but I don't think he's going to play. I think what's going to ultimately happen is this is going to end up being a game where he probably sits out, and the hometown guy Leonard Floyd is going to have to meet at the quarterback with Edo Gross Matos, and the only way they're going to win this game is they're going to have to get to Stafford. Because I don't have faith in the secondary of the 49ers. I really don't. Not with Puka Nacua and even Tutu Atwell. If you double up Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua, that's going to leave Atwell open. And not to mention Kyron Williams. The 49ers have shown that they can be run on. The first matchup with the Niners showed that their yards in the running game can be had. I think the Rams quietly are one of the most complete teams. Everybody talks about the Eagles. This team is complete now that they're healthy. And still they're not completely healthy. But offensively, they're there. This team going to be scary. And that's why I'm looking at the 49ers and I'm saying if Nick Bosa don't play in this game, this going to be night-night time for the 49ers. Steph Curry going to be talking about night-night, but it's going to be on their end. Looking at this game, I look to see the 49ers are going to try to take away Puka Nacua, even though they know Cooper Kupp can still take them down. I think they'd rather take their chances at Puka Nacua being shut down rather than Cooper Kupp. They saw the Bills tried that last week and it didn't work. So I guess this would be my guess. It'd be time to let's see if Cooper Kupp still has that magic that he had before the injury and see if he can rise to the occasion. But honestly, I think ultimately it's going to be Kyron Williams again. I think Kyron Williams goes off because you got to respect the running. You've got to respect Kupp and Nacua. And I think ultimately Kyron Williams has one of those games on national television like he always has in the last couple of, I would say, the last 2 seasons. That's my pick. I think Sean McVay outwits Kyle Shanahan because ultimately the 49ers are on that low end of the spectrum and the Rams are on that high end. They're getting guys back that they lost early in the year. The 49ers and Shanahan are losing guys. And ultimately, they're going to finish the season on a down slope, which is probably going to push them out of the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Rams will continue their ascension to the NFC West or potential NFC West crown. But let me know what you guys think. Guys, make sure you comment down below. And if you join the show, please make sure you comment down below. Let me know who you are so I can give you a gab out on the air. As well, make sure you go to my Facebook page, or make sure you go to our Facebook page at Gridiron Gab Pro Style and check out the poll that we're going to have up for Thursday night, as well as check out the other things that we've got going on the page during Gridiron Gab Pro Style in season. Also, go to the Instagram page at Mr. CeeLo and find out the other shows and things that I'm involved in. And don't forget, guys, when you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell notification so that every show that I premiere, you guys will get the first lowdown on it. But until the next time, make sure you stay warm and check back with us on the same Gab channel, same Gab platform.
But behold, there is a warm breeze that comes from the west. The blazing sounds of victory fuel their everlasting quest. It is a call to arms, for they are here. An army that has the will to challenge and the will to dare.
Whatever it takes to get in that end zone! Yeah, go, go!